Hi everyone, welcome to the Joseki chapter. I've been pretty slow at updating this chapter because this channel, first and foremost, is for beginners and lower level amateur players. So I'm trying to build enough content for beginners and lower level amateurs first before I get into the fancy stuff. So Josekis are mostly pretty fancy. If you're a beginner, you don't really need Josekis as long as you can win. If you can dominate other beginners, either in person or online, you can keep winning, then just do your thing, right? You need Josekis when your opponents are beginning to beat you by tricking you on these corners, right? If you feel that you misplayed a corner, then you need to turn to Josekis and learn what's going on. Josekis are really preparations for professional players. In the past, they would research these Josekis, basically meaning they would research all these moves and prepare for games, right? What if the opponent plays this move? I will respond with this and surprise them and try to gain an advantage here in the corner. So it's really advanced stuff. For beginners and lower level amateur players, just learn some of the basics and then just try to figure it out for yourselves and have some fun on the corners, right? You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. And if you're really frustrated by some trick moves, then you should turn to some books, look up some videos, and then you'll be more motivated to learn. If I just throw like 20, 30 Josekis at you when you haven't played 30, 50 games, then it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. And you will not be motivated to learn because you don't know why those Josekis are so important. So I think the learning process for Josekis is just learn the basics first, and then learn more as you play. Learn more as you see more patterns. This first series in this chapter, lesson 501, right? So this will be a recap and summary of 501.1 through 501.8. And these are the most basic Josekis I'm teaching you to help you guard your own corner. So now black will make an approach in all of these variations, and I'm imagining you as the player with white stones. So you're trying to defend your corner when your opponent approaches. And it's important for you to stay alive, right? By playing the correct Josekis. And of course, your opponent might make wrong moves, and I can't cover all the possible wrong moves, right? And then you really have to kind of figure it out yourself and have a little fun. And if you have AI installed, you can do some game reviews and see what AI suggests and see if you understand those moves. Or you can ask teachers, right, who are stronger than you, how to respond to those wrong moves. But here, I'll just teach you some of the most basic Josekis that you can use to guard your own corner and stand your ground. So the first one is this 3-3 invasion to the start point. White's only moves are either blocking from this side or this side. These are the only two moves. So once white blocks, black's only move is to crawl here on the 3-4 point. Now white really has three choices, A, B, and C. And my recommendation for beginners is just to play at point A. Play at this point, white is super solid, and black will have to come out like this by playing a small knight's move here on the second line. And now white can take sente. If you look at professional players, they might just invade black's corner like this, or you can play the approach, or you can guard your own corner, or you can play on the side. You have many, many choices. By taking sente, I mean playing outside this quadrant of the board, right? Playing on the other 3/4 of the board. That's taking sente. So if black keeps crawling like this, white can just keep extending, and eventually black must come out. If black keeps crawling like this, then this is very, very bad for black, because white has way more potential on the outside than black's territory here on the side. Black is only surrounding or gaining 2 points by playing each move, whereas white's potential toward the center is much bigger than 2 points. So this is a positional judgment that you should develop as a beginner and amateur player. I think the maximum for black is to crawl until number 9, and then black must come out like this. And now white can take sente. So this is how you survive the 3-3 invasion as a beginner. Just extend until your opponent comes out, like this. And then you have sente. Next, if your opponent approaches the corner like this, my recommendation is to respond with this small knight's move here on the third line. Now the popular Joseki is this attachment underneath. White must bend. You're not afraid of this cutting point, right? If black cuts here, then white can just capture number 9 very easily, like this. This is why you learn all the capture techniques, because now you can guard against this cutting point by black. Black's correct Joseki move is this double bend, double hane, here on the second line. My suggestion for white is just to connect here. It may not be the optimal move, but it is a very solid move for beginners and lower level amateurs to learn. Black will have to play here. It's a double tiger's mouth. It's a living shape, basically. And white is also very solid. And once again, white has sente. Having sente means that you should play elsewhere on the board, like this, 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 or this. Sente does not mean to play this extension, right? Because white's corner is already pretty good. White does not really fear an attack by black because this ice space is already pretty good to build a living shape. So that is the second Joseki in this series. Next, we turn to the 3-4 point. If your opponent approaches like this, it's the small knight's approach. My suggestion is simply to play this diagonal move. I explained this pattern in detail in lesson 501.3. It has a history, and now this move is favored by AI. It's very simple, and it's very strong. Black can take sente, or for amateurs, black can simply play this 2-space extension on the side, and white can take sente by playing elsewhere on the board, like this. So the Joseki itself is super simple. It looks like this. Later, white can move to the side like this, or move into the corner like this. So it's very flexible for white, and it is a very strong shape. So by playing at number 6, you have already survived your opponent's approach. Next is this 1-space approach to the 3-4 point. I introduced 2 variations. Both variations will require a little bit of memory. You do need to remember these moves eventually. These will come to you. They're very common in games. You're going to learn them from game records anyway. So the best move for beginners to make here is this one, the attachment underneath. Black will play this bend move. White extends. Black connects. White jumps out like this. And black can play a 3-space extension, either here on the 3rd line or here on the 4th line. And this is a Joseki. Once again, white has sente and should play elsewhere on the board, like this. So white has the corner and black has potential here on the side. So it's about even, and it's a pretty good Joseki for both sides. If black's number 7 is here, which is slightly worse than this for black, white should play here, connect with number 4, black will bend here, white will stand down on the 2nd line to preserve the corner, black extends, white will play here on the 2nd line once, black extends again, and now white will play this small knight's move here on the 2nd line, and this is another Joseki. It is a rare one where white does not have sente, so black has sente in this situation, and black can play elsewhere on the board, like this. But white's corner is very big and very solid, and black has some potential toward the center, but black does not have either side sealed off. So white has some influence here on the left side, and eventually white will be able to come into the upper side because there's always this move, number 18, that can help white connect through the upper side. So black's upper side is still not sealed off, and these 5 stones influence is very limited. So this is another variation stemming from the 1-space approach to the 3-4 point. Next, we talked about this large knight's approach to the 3-4 point. It is now disfavored by AI, but it is still perfectly playable for beginners and amateurs. So if you're white in this situation, you should consider playing this diagonal move. Again, a diagonal move is a very solid move, and number 4 and 6 really seal off the corner and has the corner completely protected. And the best move for black to make, if you're a beginner, is to play this 2-space extension here on the side. Again, white has sente and should play elsewhere on the board. And this Joseki is only 4 moves, very simple. White has the corner, super solid, and black has established a base here on white's side of the board, so black can be satisfied as well. If black plays the 2-space approach to the 3-4 point, then white should play the diagonal as well. Now it is harder for black to extend on the left side because eventually white can come in like this. So black doesn't really have a base. So black should play this shoulder hit against the number 4, white crawls on the 3rd line, and black jumps. So this will be a Joseki, although this would slightly favor white because white's corner is very big and very solid, and black does not have the upper side or the left side sealed off on the 2nd line. So white has annoying moves like this or this in the future. But for now, white should take sente and play on the other 3/4 of the board, like this, this, or this. There are many choices. Lastly, a very aggressive form of approach is to play this attachment against the 3-4 point. It is very rare at the beginning of a game, but this move actually does not decrease black's chance of winning. So you have to know how to respond to black's number 5. And the correct move is to play here, this bending move on the other 3-4 point. Black will play Hane on one side, and white should Atari. Black connects, and white should connect on the 3-3 point like this. Black will play here, white extends, and black will play a small knight's move toward the center. So black has established some influence on the upper side, although white can come in like this. Make sure you can play a 2-space extension comfortably in your opponent's area of influence, and white has the corner secured. So this could also be a Joseki against the number 5 invasion to the 3-4 point. So overall, these are the most simple Josekis. Each one of them can get more complicated than they appear, and you only need to learn those more complicated variations as they arise in games. In other words, learn more Josekis as you need. You don't need to remember all those variations as a beginner or lower level amateur player when you don't have that much playing experience. As I said earlier, if you keep winning, just do your thing and beat your opponents. But once you get frustrated by your opponents because they're starting to trick you with their Josekis, with these trick moves, that's when you should seek help and learn more Josekis yourself. For more detailed explanations on each of the Josekis I showed in this video, please check out lessons 501.1 through 501.8. As always, if you have any questions, please leave them below. I'd love to hear from you. Good luck, and thank you for watching.